Holy crap, we're turning back the clock for Masters of the Universe. Hey guys, Jay! Welcome back to the channel. Oh my gosh, guys. This is just a year of toys, I gotta tell you. New York Toy Fair 2025 literally has dropped pretty much the entire 2025 catalog for action figures, at least for now. So many different announcements happened this past weekend, and Toy Fair is still going on. So the possibility of another set of announcements or surprises might still be on the way. And yesterday, Master Universe fans were treated to some additional releases. Master Universe Origins, and I'm going to be calling them Classics Edition, have been announced, everybody. The naming convention is a bit strange, so that's why I'm calling it that. But for the most part, we're getting the original, at least versions of Skeletor and He-Man in a 2-pack for the original 6 Points of Articulation figures with their Power Punch action. I love it. I'm super excited about this because I have always wanted another updated version of the Master Universe figures, because the ones that are on the market right now are just super expensive on card, and I really wanted to have a collection like this for my very own. Let's take a deep dive into this, guys, and see exactly what I noticed. Some differences, some unique updates, and some details, which are kind of, well, let's just say, soft, in my opinion. Let's have a look, everybody. Well, guys, Toy Fair 2025 is still going, and we have about 1 day left, so it's unclear whether or not there are going to be any more reveals or surprises from different companies. But if you want to get a small recap as to the events of the weekend, I did do a full video on this on Mega J Retro, and you can take a look at that. I'll have links in the description below, because it was a wild ride and still way more things to cover. And today, I wanted to go over a few of the new announcements from Master of the Universe. And these pictures come to us courtesy of our good friends over at toyart.com. They are a wonderful news resource for action figures all year round. Give them a like and a follow. Tell them that Jay sent you. Announced over the weekend for Master Universe was the return of the original Master Universe 5.5-inch scale action figures. Oh my god, guys. This literally blew my mind. I was absolutely floored with this announcement. And here they are on display alongside the Turtles of Grayskull King Hiss figure. He's looking absolutely stunning, but these two really took the cake for me, as I have always wanted to get on card 2 of the original figures in their original 5.5-inch squat scale. There they are. Oh my god, guys, this is just like a dream come true. Everything is coming back Master Universe, and 1982 has literally come back in 2025. Let's take a closer look at these. There they are. He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe, and his arch nemesis, Skeletor. Holy crap, guys. These are freaking insane. You can tell that they are not the Origins figures from old, because if you zoom in a little bit closer, there is no articulation in any of the joints. This is ridiculous, and I'm truly wondering whether or not they have all the original features from back in the day. Do they have the Power Punch action? Do they have the dumbbell waist and the connector on the legs? I am really curious as to what's happening with these figures, and I wanted to take a deeper dive and see all the details, because honestly, there are some things which I'm a little bit wary about. Let's take a closer look. Here we go with He-Man, and honestly, this seems to be a very big problem with figures being reissued years later. I don't know exactly what's going on here, but they just cannot seem to get He-Man's face right. This is okay. It's not great. It looks really, really soft. I mean, if you were to compare this with the original Master Universe figure, like this photo here from our good friends over at toyhabits.com, I'm pretty sure that this is the Toy Sorceress's very own He-Man figure. I mean, zooming in on this face, you really can't tell. The details are just so much sharper, so much more detailed. The eyes are even painted in a certain specific way, and of course, every single He-Man figure is slightly different in his own way, but for the most part, when they came out of the mold, this is the way they're supposed to look. Really defined, really sharp, really well made. And unfortunately, that is not what I'm seeing here. What I'm seeing here is really, really soft, and I just don't understand why they cannot get this right over at Mattel. As a matter of fact, even the figure himself seems soft. I mean, look at those muscles. Even the straps seem a little bit doughy and a little bit soft. I mean, going to the Toy Sorceress's He-Man, I mean, look at those straps. Those are well-defined, really sharp. Obviously, the paint is a little bit off, but that's to be expected back in the day. But the Iron Cross is really well-defined. Everything about these figures is chiseled, like they were made out of marble. Like, seriously, they are incredibly well-defined. as He-Man should be. Whereas this new edition, I'm sorry to say, probably this is because it's a paint master and there's a lot of paint on this figure. I think I can forgive that. That's probably where everything is showing up here. This is all probably just paint on top of a prototype, and that's exactly what we're looking at here, which would explain, why the details are just not sharp. I mean, they look so soft in my overall opinion, and that's just me. Hopefully by the time it comes out, and we do know this for a fact, when they finally come to the final production version of the figures, they get a lot more detail and a lot sharper and a lot better. But I do have to say that overall I am a little bit disappointed at this photo here, but then again, these were Paintmaster prototypes that were probably prepared just for the show, and the fact that they even have these on the floor is a minor miracle in and of itself. So I will reserve judgment on the final version once it's released. Having said that, he comes with a whole host of accessories: his battle axe, his shield, which is freaking amazing, and of course his power sword. And we're going to talk about his power sword a little later in the episode. But he also comes with these wonderful new boots, and they are completely painted. All the straps are painted, the top of the furry boots is painted. That is a 100% upgrade from the original figure, which really didn't have much painting on the boots at all. They were just pretty much all red. But again, that's the way it was back in the day to actually save money on different paint apps. I am more than happy to forgive that in its overall design aesthetic. Then let's take a look at the Master of Destruction, Skeletor, the nemesis of He-Man. Honestly, I gotta say, they have, even though it's a little bit softer in this version here, faithfully reproduced Skeletor's look. I really do appreciate the way he has his green face with yellow highlights and deep purple red set eyes. Oh my god, this is awesome. Returning once again to the Toy Sorceress and Toy Habits for an example. Here is Skeletor, and you really can see that almost all the details are 100% accurate. The face, of course, was a bit softer on Skeletor, which I think we all just had to accept, and I'm really happy with the way this version is actually turning out. Now, it should be noted that these are 100% paint masters. As you can see, the hood that Skeletor has is quite glossy, and I do believe that's just because it's brand new paint. Moving down further, we can even see his straps have that same glossy effect, along with his Havoc staff, which also seems a bit soft in its overall appearance, as I said earlier. But once again, the vintage version really had these sharper details, so it'll be interesting to see how they rectify that for the final release. I really do believe that it's mostly because this is all paint on top of prototypes, so I'm okay with the way it appears here. It's just these little details I do have to point out. The bone cross sigil on his chest appears to be a different color than the actual straps themselves, which is amazing. I love that detail. He's even got the red crystal wonderfully painted on the middle of his chest, which is something very different from the way it appeared in the 1982 edition, which basically was a casting of the entire strap set with no paint details at all. We can even see that the bone details across the actual strap set are also painted in a different color, along with the rivets in his armor, even the ones on his shoulder pauldrons. That is so cool. And later we're going to find out, moving down further, we do see that his sash also has those wonderful color details. The ram head in the middle, the little rivets on the sash itself, and then moving back towards the longer shot, his toes are even painted, which is a unique detail for this particular version. In the past, there have been half and half boots. That was actually something highlighted by earlier versions of Skeletor. On the tops of his boots, we can even see some black highlighting, and I think it is a little late in the game, but 40th anniversary editions of the classic vintage versions of Skeletor and He-Man. And today we got official solicitation photos for the two figures, and there's some additional details here, which I think these are really, really early paint masters when they were first getting produced, and I wanted to highlight a couple of things that I've noticed here. First of all, He-Man's head sculpt is completely different from the one that's actually on the show floor. If we take a look at this one versus the He-Man here, you really can't tell the paint details are completely different. These ones seem to be a little bit more defined, but at the same time, a little bit wider in their overall positioning. The face even seems a little bit squashed, in my opinion, compared to the one that was showcased. The details here seem to be even softer, if that's even possible. As a matter of fact, the cordite doesn't even seem to be raised very much, and the Iron Cross just seems to be almost like a tempo, whereas we can clearly see here on He-Man's chest that this version is very well defined, very nice sharper lines compared to this solicitation version, still softer than the original, but much more detailed than what we're seeing here. Moving down further, we can see that his boots are a completely different color. They are these bright orange for the straps along with the fur details at the top, which is in complete contrast to the way they're presented here with more brown details, which really does befit the character much more. It's kind of crazy to see the differences between the solicitation photos and the actual prototypes that were displayed at the New York Toy Fair. These orange boots, they ain't working for me. Moving down to his included accessories, he does come with his traditional battle axe, his amazing shield, which I keep losing, and I need another one, so it's great that we have another opportunity to grab one of these. And he comes with 2 swords? That's interesting. I'm not sure that he actually comes with 2 swords or if it's a comparison between the two. Here we see a more Filmation-style sword, which seems to be included now with the cartoon collection. And we have what I believe to be the Sword of Power, which is included with this figure. Now, if we're going for toy accuracy from 1982, the sword is actually incorrect. He-Man's Power Sword actually is very iconic for fans, and it looks like this. It actually has 2 pieces of plastic which were joined at the top, which is where Filmation drew that inspiration for their version of the Power Sword. This version is actually the one that's included with the Origins collection, so I'm not really sure what's up with that. Maybe it's just to save money. I don't know why they went in this direction, but to be perfectly honest with you, if I was going to be a stickler for details, I really would have appreciated if they actually included this version of the Power Sword, as it is actually very distinct for that generation. And if you're going to do a vintage reissue in 2025, I think a lot of other fans would also appreciate that. Having said that, if he's included with this version of the Power Sword, I'm taking it. And it's interesting to note that this has a speckled type of plastic along with a similar treatment to the Filmation version, whereas the 2 other accessories are actually cast in their traditional gray plastic. In fact, what we saw at New York Toy Fair is actually in the same colored plastic as the other 2 accessories. So it remains to be seen what version of the Power Sword we're actually going to be getting. And it is fascinating to find out how production tends to change these things for the production of action figures. Moving over to Skeletor, there are even more additional details which we need to highlight. For example, his strap set is very different in its overall color scheme. The shoulders seem to be colored in black, or at least a really, really dark purple, which is very different compared to his original counterpart. And there seems to be a green colored bat, which has been highlighted in different mini-comics prior to this. But for Master Universe fans, I think that it's just more reminiscent and more nostalgic to have it colored the same as the plastic, which he's going to be included with. This obviously is another Paint Master. As you can see all the different paint highlights for the shininess on his straps. And moving down further, we even see that the highlights on his scale work are not painted, whereas they were clearly painted here, as you can see the black details on this version on the show floor of New York Toy Fair 2025. One additional detail which I think I should point out is that they bothered to paint in his claws. That's something I wasn't expecting. I wasn't expecting anything of that nature. As a matter of fact, it does actually carry over to the show floor version. As you can see right here, he does actually have those tiny little details. But regardless of all that, it is just incredible that we're going to be getting brand new vintage versions of He-Man and Skeletor. And I do believe that this is actually going to be a 2-pack. Heading over to the Mattel Master Universe official images info on ToyArc, scrolling down just about to the bottom, we can see that the Master Universe Origins 2-pack, and this is interesting that they still are calling it Origins, as they are definitely not Origins figures. We can check out some of the details, including pricing information. It's priced at $44.99, which is not a bad price. Not the best price, in my opinion, but at $22 a figure, I'm really not going to complain. It should be hitting stores around fall of 2025, and it goes on to say that this nostalgic Master Universe Origins 2-pack celebrates the 80th anniversary of Mattel and really packs a punch with retro-looking He-Man and Skeletor figures with punching action. Yes! They are going to have their punching action. I love it. A classic hero versus villain pack. The figures are designed 5.5-inch scale with 6 points of articulation. There it is. The fun-filled twist and punch movements on both set them up for epic good versus evil battles. I love it. Skeletor comes with a sword, havoc staff, and removable chest skirt armor. He-Man has a power sword, a shield, and an axe, removable signature chest harness, and roto-molded heads. I'm not exactly sure what that means, roto-molded heads. I think it's possible that the plastic will be different than the plastic that's made from the figures themselves. Could we be looking at squishy head He-Man and squishy head Skeletor? That would be incredible. Yes, this is the year. This is the year. I mean, we're already well past the 40th anniversary of Masters of the Universe, but She-Ra's 40th anniversary is here, and we're celebrating in an amazing style. These two seem to be a little late to the party in terms of the 40th anniversary, but heck, why not? Anytime I can see and get my hands on brand new action figures for Master Universe, I'm always just so excited. And in this case, I am so nostalgic because the Master Universe Origins, and I'm calling them myself, Classics Edition, look absolutely incredible. They are on the softer side. I'm not going to lie about that. I actually am going to be a bit critical about that. But again, these are paint masters. I can tell because most of the details are very, very soft. They're glossed over with a whole bunch of paint, and they're shiny in many instances, which I'm pretty sure are not going to be the case when they're finally in action figure format. And it's really great just to see them on the toy floor. It's kind of a minor miracle for that. And I really am excited about this 2-pack overall. I am a little bit critical about the swords. They do look, no, they're not what I was expecting. I really was hoping for a reissue of the original swords, much like the axe and the shield. I mean, why change that? Very, very interesting. And the paint details, I think, are for the better, actually. I think that they really give a new enhancement to the figures and make them very unique for 2025. So I really don't mind that overall. But let me know in the comment section below, guys, what are your thoughts about these Master Universe Origins? Again, I'm going to be calling them Classics Edition, which are a reissue of the original 5.5-inch 6 points of articulation with Power Punch action. I am looking forward to picking these up. I wonder if you are, and if you're going to put down $44 for this 2-pack, as they are a wonderful throwback to 1982 when Master Universe first started. Or are you kind of scratching your head a little bit like I am and like, why didn't these come out in the 40th anniversary? It kind of seems kind of weird in that sense, but at the end of the day, we're getting them in some regards. And are you also the opinion that you would rather get more Origins figures and finish off the line than have to go back into the past to collect another set of figures you already have? Let me know those comments in the comment section below, guys. Toy news continues, everybody, and of course, there's still a ton of things to cover for Toy Fair 2025. I'm going to be doing a deep dives on many of the brands that we are very much interested in. As a matter of fact, I did a full recap of everything that happened at Toy Fair 2025. You can take a look at that video, but at the same time, I'm going to be doing an overview about the Fright Zone, which was announced kind of quietly, especially the fact that it was released in like a pamphlet, as I understand it. I will link that video here when it's available, and I hope to see you guys there. I hope you're all doing well, staying safe, and as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. Good journey, everybody. Geek proud.